Okay, picking up on part 2 where we left off. Here at Bloomington Ice Garden, Rink 1. Northern Lights against the Flying Aces. And we got delayed penalty, and Neil actually did a very nice job of marking the goaltender, so good job there. We had high stick the puck was the stoppage. Now, is it a big deal or not that Mark's dropping it in your end zone? I'll let it slide this time, but the reason I harp on that is it's a mental focus thing where you're running through your Rolodex every time. I hope that registered with you that, oh geez, Mark's dropping the puck. Shane Paskey's calling me on the phone, and Mark's dropping the puck, and it's in my zone. Well, I'll switch right, you know, and I hope it at least registered on your radar. Remember, guys, you're only as good as your last game. So now is as good as time as any. Doesn't, you know, it's hard to tell. In fact, I think I stopped videotaping because it's hard to videotape Neil on that side, that end of the ice, when he's always on the freaking boards, it seems, the near boards, so I can't videotape to the bench. But I'll use this opportunity to tell my Matt Allwelling story. Matt Allwelling from Warroad was a very good player. Played at Warroad. Played at Michigan Tech, played in the coast. Right? Was a no-nonsense kind of guy. Brought his lunch pail every time. And he got into officiating when his playing career was done. He went to Minn Kota camp, the very first camp we had. He got hired in the WCHA after that. He's got some name recognition. All the coaches recognize that. That's an advantage that he has. He has been there and done it. Okay, there's other guys like that. Justin Brown most recently. I can predict who the next one's going to be. Just based on their playing career, they're going to get an advantage over you. Okay, if you don't have that type of playing career where you play D1 minor pro, you are going to have to overcome that somehow. Well, anyway, get back to Matt. He got an invite to Prospects Camp. This is not quality videotaping where I'm getting ice. Sorry guys. Anyway, Matt got invited to the North American Program of Merit. And he is put big time on the radar of the NHL. You know why? Not because the supervisor in WCHA promoted him. It's not because anybody affiliated with WCHA, NCAA, or anything promoted him. Guess who promoted him? Some scouts and then general managers of NHL teams. They were at, of all places, freaking Bemidji State, watching Bemidji play whoever, and they saw Allwelling there, and they saw him enough, and saw his effort, and saw the way he was bringing it, and knew about his playing background, that finally they mentioned to the NHL supervisors, you know, like Kevin Collins and Dan McCourt, and guys like that, Chuck Banfield. mention to those guys, you got to come take a look at this guy. So Dan McCourt, NHL linesman, done Canada Cups and all that jazz, is in Bemidji State, at Bemidji. Boy, there's a location that's easy to get to, huh? But they're there taking a look at him because somebody who wasn't even affiliated with hockey, refereeing per se, said you got to take a look at him. What in the heck is my point for this long rambling story, over 2 minutes long? My point is you never know who's watching, and you should work every goddamn game like an NHL supervisor is watching your game. Okay? It's taking pride in your job. It doesn't, who gives a rat's ass if it's Sunday afternoon and it's the third of 3 games, and you know, like I said, I fucking hate guys who say stuff like that. Bring it every time. You're only as good as your last shift. Okay? Now, that's not necessarily a comment on this game per se, but it's a warning to all of you. Okay? Similar stories could be, you know, Brad Albers. Guy was just dying to get into the junior program when it first started. Okay? Who cares if that happened there, Matt? Or, you know what, Neil, right there. I'm going to point that out. 6:20. You stumbled coming out of the end zone. You know what that means? Is you're pushing the envelope. I'd rather have a guy do that than lollygag back to the line. Because you stumble once, who cares? Let's say you drop the next end zone face-off. You're coming out of the zone, you stumble again. Who cares? Let's say you do it 4 times in a row, 4 straight face-offs. You know what that means? You're pushing the envelope every time. That's a lot better than those guys who are sitting around standing and watching and doing nothing. So, when you push the envelope like that, and you continue to push the envelope, you become better. You become faster, you become better footwork, your skating gets better. You're out of your comfort zone. Okay? If you fall, who gives a rat's rear? Okay? Ha ha ha. You fall, you oh. So what? Okay? You're pushing the envelope. If you're falling because you're doing bad positioning or whatever, that's a whole different story. But if you're falling because you're pushing your skating skills to the brink, that's going to make you better. Those guys are like, oh, I'm afraid to fall. I don't want to pay around. I don't want to have all them people laugh at me. So I'll stay within my tiny little comfort zone, and then then I don't have to worry. And then guess what? You're not being a better skater that way. So anyway, Brad Albers was just dying. He wasn't getting a sniff. I've told this before, but he was at the super rink working a bantam game. Scott Brand happened to be up in that Hat Trick Cafe at the super rink and happened to peek out on one ice sheet and saw Brad Albers there bringing it like an NHL supervisor was watching, having no idea that Scott Brand was there or going to be there, but he brought it. And guess what? Scott came down to the locker room and said, hey, I like the job you do. I want to give you a chance. Work a game like Terry Gregson, like whoever. You know, Greg Shepard, Steve Piotrowski, Paul Stewart, anybody. Work the game like, you know, this is your chance to shine. And you do that game in and game out, guess what? Excellence becomes a habit. You know, that's why I'll finish up and say I love guys, to name names, like Robert Beckel, like Ken Thielman, who work grassroots hockey. They're not going to work any MJ games, but they bring it to every game they work because, in their words, the kids deserve it. And you know what? Every time you step foot on the ice, everybody deserves your best. Most of all you. You're selling yourself short if you're not delivering your best. Okay? That's what I'm going to finish up with there. See you in the next part.